All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Evidence-Based Impact Farm to ECE Garden Programming with our wonderful BSage team here. So I'm just going to get started with introductions. So we have Dr. Rebecca Lee. She's a professor at the College of Nursing and Health Innovation at Arizona State University. She's a community health psychologist specializing in participatory research to promote physical activity and healthy eating. Her work focuses on environmental and policy strategies, capitalizes on innovations in technology, and improves the quality of neighborhood environments. She draws on community partnerships to maximize impact and outreach for her work with Hispanic, Latino children and families in the US and Mexico. Now we have Hector, who served as a program manager with Arizona State University from 2016 to 2022 and is currently the communication outreach specialist for Dr. Lee's research in the Accessa Lab, including the project sustainability via active garden education, SAGE, and safely back to ECE with SAGE or BSage. He has a master's degree in interdisciplinary studies from ASU and has spent his entire career in the field of health promotion and disease prevention in underrepresented populations. Then we have Annalise. She is a native of Arizona and graduated from the University of Arizona in 2020 and has a dual degree in Spanish and biology. She first started working with children at her local community center as a teenager and went on to mentor, tutor at schools in the Tucson area. Ever since she has been driven to a career working with kids, she began working on the BSage project as a research technician before being promoted to project coordinator, and she now serves as a program manager and is ready to bring her enthusiasm to this project and continue giving back to the community. We also have Elizabeth, who graduated from College of Health Solutions at ASU and received a BS in public health. She enjoys working with children and has experience as a K-12 tutor for the Trio Friendly House for nearly 2 years. Although she began working for SAGE as an intern, she has also served as a project coordinator and is now has a position on the team as a program manager. She enjoys working for the BSage project and as it offers opportunity to improve children's nutrition and physical activity. My name is Jocelyn, and I'm a graduate from Phoenix College. I received an associate in music, and I'm currently working to attain my bachelor in elementary education. I enjoy working with kids and have nearly 4 years experience working in a pre-K through 8th grade setting. And I started as a research technician, and I am now BSage project coordinator. Yeah, all right, Hector, if you want to get started with our video.
Thank you, Justin. Yes, I will start our video. Please let me know if it's not showing or if you can't hear or if there's any issues. Give me 1 second.
Hi, so my name is Jocelyn Jimenez, and I'm a project coordinator here at the BSage project. We are very excited to be presenting our project here at the 2022 Arizona Farm to School Gathering. I have a wonderful panel of representatives here from our project here to discuss the BSage, what it's about. Would you please introduce yourself?
I don't know if it's just me, but I can no longer hear.
Yes, I cannot hear it either. I think Hector is looking at it to see if he can figure out what is going on. Hold on just a sec, sorry.
Well, Hector muted himself, so that might be a reason.
Could that be the reason? Here, tell me if you can hear the audio now.
Thank you. And as I said, I am Jocelyn, and I am a
Yeah, we can hear the sound. I wonder if you can go back a little bit.
Questions that I'll be asking our panelists. Yeah. Hi, so my name is Jocelyn Jimenez, and I'm a project coordinator here at the BSage project. We are very excited to be presenting our project here at the 2022 Arizona Farm to School Gathering. I have a wonderful panel a wonderful panel of representatives here from our project, here to discuss the B-Sage, what it's about. Would you please introduce yourselves?
I'll start since I'm unmuted. I'm Rebecca Lee. I'm the principal investigator with the Family of Sage Projects, and more particularly the B-Sage Project.
I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Hector Valdez, and I am the Communications Outreach Specialist for the B-Sage Project.
Hello, my name is Lisbeth Cantu, and I'm the project manager for the B-Sage project.
Hi, everyone. My name is Annalise Nicholson, and I am also the project manager over the B-Sage project.
Wonderful, thank you. And as I said, I am Jocelyn, and I am a project coordinator. So I have a series of questions that I'll be asking our panelists here, and as they give their responses, we will also play a slideshow for you to look at pictures about our project. So let me pull that up really fast and we can get started. All right, can we all see the PowerPoint? All right, are you ready to start? All right, wonderful. So Dr. Lee, so the B-Sage project has, it's a huge project, and you have provided a lot of resources and great support for preschoolers all across the Valley, offering free COVID-19 testing and, access to community healthcare workers. So want to know, can you describe the origin story of the B-Sage program? How did it become?
I would be happy to. So B-Sage started a long time ago. B-Sage stands for Back to Early Care and Education Safely with SAGE, and SAGE stands for Sustainability via Active Garden Education. And so, as the name might suggest, we are started as a garden program in early care and education sites. But even way before that, I was working together with a large community partnership of over 200 members in the city of Houston, where I lived before my move to Arizona State University. And we developed this idea together collaboratively to help reduce obesity and other chronic conditions like type 2 diabetes and hypertension and heart disease by helping young children develop healthy habits. So as it turns out, most of those chronic conditions start happening before the age of 5. So we thought preschool was the place to go. And our community partners really liked that idea. And they also thought that they wanted to have gardens in every early care and education site, every preschool in America. So we developed the garden education program. It uses the plant and the life cycle of the plant as a metaphor for human development, and the little kids just love that. It resonates really well with them. So now through that, we developed an evidence-based, policy-guided program that has 12 units that help early care and education teachers to develop and deliver this programming to help young kids be more physically active and eat more healthfully and understand more about the world around them.
That is wonderful, thank you. So it sounds like a huge project. So if this was a book trilogy, can you describe how this program has evolved over time by describing its distinct phases as book titles? And can you give a brief summary of each of them?
Sure. So book titles are tricky. It's hard to come up with a trilogy of book titles that are super catchy. I think the overarching book title of the collection would be Sage, From Seed to Fruit. However, I think the first chapter would be maybe planting the seeds. And that really had to do with the time when I was in Houston working to kind of come up with the idea that we were going to make this garden-based curriculum and that it was going to be something that was transcultural. So that people from all backgrounds, all cultures, all kind of places in the world would be able to benefit from having access to a garden and understanding about it. So then I think maybe the second chapter or the second book would be called nurturing the garden. And that then has been the years of careful development and testing that we have done. Most of that work has been in Phoenix, and we've partnered with many, many early care and education sites. You may have been one of our sites. Hello, and thank you for your support. And during that time, we worked again with lots of teachers and parents to really refine our curriculum and our materials so that it works really well and is easy and fun to deliver. And then I think the third book maybe would be Harvesting the Fruit. And so, you know, when you're harvesting the fruit in the garden, you're not just plucking the ripe fruit, but you also then are making sure that your fruit is ready to be eaten, and then conserving what you can from the fruit afterwards to plant your next generation of gardens. And so that's kind of where we're at now, where we're talking about scaling up SAGE and thinking about how we can help SAGE be implemented throughout Arizona, not just in Maricopa County, but thinking about, you know, how can we help SAGE to be integrated as kind of a best practices model, perhaps with some of our state agencies, and helping to move our materials online for our really nice website, and thinking about how we can help teachers with simple prompts and simple materials to deliver our curriculum so that the kids and families from our communities are able to reap the most benefit.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. All right, Elizabeth, so since this is a huge project and there's, you know, a lot of things that are going on like behind the scenes to get this project out there to this preschools, what has been your favorite memory associated with coordinating this program?
Well, there are a lot of great memories. My favorite memory would have to be the child assessment we completed at Chicanos por la Causa, Queen Creek. That was like the first time I was able to see the child assessment completed from beginning to end, without it being interrupting like the classroom or anything. It was a 2-hour kind of gap, and even though we had more than 10 students consented and we were recording for over 10 students, we weren't there for very long. So that means that our protocols have been improving little by little as we complete each child assessment at each of the sites. So as a manager, we kind of do like to see an improvement, and it's within our team, and we were able to engage with the students a little easier. But yeah, it has to be one of my favorite memories because how the children were interacting with each assessment, with the veggie meter, with the motor assessment, and with the eating in the absence of hunger. All the children were enthusiastic, and I believe it's with our team being very, very well versed with each assessment. So yeah, it has to be my favorite memory.
Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, so Annalise, so as we're implementing this garden and like the wonderful assessments that Elizabeth was describing at the sites, in your own words, what impact has this program as a BSAGE program had on young learners in these ECE centers and in the community?
Yeah, so I would say in reference to the young learners, I would say the curriculum that our program offers really enables the young children to have a really early on association with fruits and vegetables and becoming familiar with them, learning about nutrition, and also making sure that they're, you know, doing exercises and being physically active. I think one of my favorite things when we're teaching, when we're training teachers on our curriculum is telling them about the red apple, green apple activity that we do, because I think it's a great example of a really simple way to initiate that early on association with fruits and vegetables, how I'm saying. So instead of red light, green light, we do red apple, green apple, and it helps the kids, you know, think about fruits, become familiar with them, and also being physically active with that game as well. And it's something really easy for them to learn, and it's something that they really enjoy doing as well. I would also say that when we install the gardens at the EC sites, this also allows the children to have firsthand experience of taking care of something, seeing it grow, and gives them an opportunity sometimes to even taste the new fruits and veggies if they end up being able to harvest something, which a lot of our sites have been able to, and they really enjoy it. So these are maybe different foods that they would have never known about. And so it's really cool that they get to be introduced to it very early on. As for the EC centers and the community, since our desired population is low-income and Hispanic communities, these are communities I would say that usually are lacking some resources. And I think that finding where to start sometimes can be the hardest part as well. And so I would say the testing aspect of our program, where we've been able to offer on-site COVID testing events with the spit saliva test, has been something that's really helped the community and the EC site overall, because we do our best to make it very accessible to the staff, the parents, the kids, everyone. And so we try to make it easy as possible, as accessible as possible, and make it a great experience also by offering our bilingual and bicultural team. So we are partnered with Equality Health Foundation, and they help us out with community health workers who do the testing procedure. And then our ASU staff completes the survey aspect of it. But the nice thing about it is that we are able to serve both English and Spanish speaking communities. So I think that's a really cool part of our project and how we have an impact on our community.
Thank you for sharing, Annalise. Yeah, that is wonderful how we work with such a community like this. Hector, so how is this BSAGE program? How does it relate to the farm to school or farm to ECE in this case?
Yeah, thanks, Jocelyn. I mean, for me, it's a lot of what Annalise was just referencing and talking about. So I'll kind of piggyback off of what she was saying, and it's really this idea of building knowledge in kids early on. So the idea of learning and being exposed to concepts of nutrition and healthy eating. And where our food comes from, right? And how our bodies are like plants. Dr. Lee used that metaphor with the book chapters, and we use it with the kids in the curriculum, that our bodies are like our plants that need nourishment and sustenance. And so exposing kids and giving them those experiences at an early age really ingrains in them this idea of quality food and good nutrition and physical activity. And so I guess the idea then goes, then what follows is this idea that once kids care about where their food comes from and what it is that they're putting into their bodies, that they will then request and demand that actually from their school, from their parents. And then it becomes kind of this positive kind of self-fulfilling cycle, right? Where once the parents then, are being told by the kids, why do we have more fruits and vegetables? And they're giving junk food at school, and all of a sudden, then the parents become invested and involved in what the school is feeding their kids, right? So it's this kind of idea of kind of this grassroots movement for kind of policy and advocacy from the bottom up, right? So advocating for this promotion of farm to school nutrition at all schools, at all levels, for all kids. So it's really building this demand, this knowledge, this experience that then kind of forces the supply side to provide that demand for the kids.
Thank you, Hector. So as we heard from Elizabeth earlier, there's some really awesome things that come out of this project, but I know with some big projects and just everyday life, there's some challenges that come with it. So what are some challenges that you have experienced or noticed while implementing the BSAGE program at schools?
I think some of the challenges are kind of the usual challenges that any program, any community-based program has, recruitment, retention, buy-in, those kinds of things. As SAGE, the gardening piece became BSAGE with adding the testing component, obviously this was right in the middle of the pandemic. And so when we reached out to early care education centers trying to recruit them for our project, sometimes we would have moments where schools really wanting the testing piece. And then as the perceived need for testing either went up or down, and all of a sudden sites really wanted the gardening piece, but not necessarily felt that there was as much kind of interest or need for the testing. So trying to package that messaging together and offering both of those things sometimes took some time and some relationship building and conversations with the directors or the principals or the teachers at the sites to really get their buy-in. I mean, during the pandemic, we got a lot of resistance, right? We're too busy, we're too overwhelmed, we're short-staffed, we don't have the time to bring in an outside group or an outside project and implement it, right? And then some of the restrictions, right? A lot of these schools were closed, not allowing people or outside vendors to come in to actually be on site. So overcoming some of those barriers was a great challenge. And it was a little bit of a challenge as well when it was just the gardening piece, when it was just Sage, right? We used to kind of implement the program where we would come in and facilitate these 12 sessions, once a week, twice a week. And so sometimes we ran into some resistance about, hey, this is interrupting my schedule. This is interrupting my curriculum. But what was really kind of interesting and neat and really kind of fulfilling was that once we got that buy-in, once we were able to kind of really explain to folks what our project was and how we would work with them to make it as less intrusive as possible to their existing kind of work plan and curriculums, it became something that was highly embraced almost across every site that we've ever worked with. From teachers to directors, principals, parents, and the children, they have all loved the gardening aspect of this curriculum. And as you can see with some of these pictures, it's just really great. It's incredibly fulfilling to watch these kids enjoy running around, jumping around, and being so excited about their garden. They really take ownership of their garden. This is their garden. This is their food. And so it's just fantastic. So, the typical challenges, funding, timing, lots of timelines and deliverables to complete, and, lots of stakeholders to kind of attend to. But the actual implementation piece has been fantastic because it has been very well received by the schools that we've worked with.
Thank you so much, Hector. Yeah. Dr. Lee, so what support do you think is needed to increase the access of school gardens, based on nutrition education in these ECE sites?
That is a great question. I think that the key to improving nutrition education and garden-based education really has to come from our partnerships and our alliances as we work together. We often have concerns about money as a resource, but we have a lot of other kinds of resources that can help out when our programming funds are a little bit short. So for example, with the original SAGE program, we've had lots of partners from government government offices, but also community organizations and other university organizations that have all kind of partnered together, as well as our early care and education sites, our Head Start centers, lots of people in this partnership. And as SAGE has grown, I think particularly the pandemic was very interesting because, schools were closed and kids were at home and children were missing a lot of important educational opportunities. And for many kids, being at the early care and education site provides super duper important nutrition and education and other kinds of opportunities that really make a huge difference for their life success, not solely just how they're going to be doing for the next year or so at their early care and education site. So having these kinds of opportunities is really important. So when we learned about this kind of the BSAGE potential to introduce testing for the coronavirus in our sites as a strategy to help keep kids safely in school, we were very excited about this because then this allowed us to develop relationships with Phoenix Children's Hospital and Equality Health Foundation and other more health-oriented organizations that had not necessarily been so closely related to our education and government partnerships. So this, I think, is the key, is that with any of these kinds of school-based programs or community programming, you really have to have a very strong and diverse partnership that you can leverage those human resources and intellectual resources to think creatively about how you can get money or donations, or who has what good that maybe you need. You know, we have in the past received donations of soil. We have received donations of seeds, which is great for enhancing local procurement if you have locally sourced seeds. So I think it's really the partnership and the strength of the partnership, and thinking about how different interests can be fulfilled through SAGE and various aspects of it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Lee. Our last question. So after the sites are no longer involved with the study, how can the B-SAGE program continue to be implemented? How will these schools continue without our support, without this team support? How do you think they will keep it up?
Is that a question for me also?
Yes, it is.
Well, I hope they will do it wonderfully well. So one thing that I think Hector was maybe talking a little bit about is that we've really worked very hard to make sure that the SAGE curriculum matches up with national standards, helps to fulfill federal funding checkboxes, if you will, so that it is advantageous for sites to implement pieces and parts of the programming. It's well organized into 12 units. We have really nice support on our website. We have videos to demonstrate our games. We use simple and inexpensive materials in our gardens. So it is very low cost, but potentially very high yield. So I think that with our partnership, and also making sure that our teachers and directors understand that this program is meeting needs that have in the past been unmet, as well as serving our community and being very popular with everyone involved. Kids are very excited and happy about the garden. We've done some surveys of our parents, and our parents really like the SAGE materials as well. They comment specifically on how much they love the healthy, simple recipes using locally procured in-season foods, and they also really like hearing their kids sing the songs, very simple songs that we have as part of our curriculum. So I think to answer the question, then I think again it goes back to the collaboration and making sure that everyone has access to these already free resources like our website and the simple materials and expertise through our partnership.
Well, yeah, thank you so much. So I just want to say thank you to all of our panelists for sharing their thoughts and experience with this project. We will now move on to the discussion and the Q&A portion of our session. All right, thank you.
So there is a question in the chat about getting the credit, the continuing education credit for attending these classes. And I don't know the answer to that. I think Raven is the person who is the contact on that. I don't know. Do we have someone on this Zoom that knows that information? Or do we need to just contact Raven? It may have been sent out, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we have anybody with the event here on the call with us, so we'd have to probably follow up with Raven.
Okay, cool. And I think Robin, would you put yourself on mute, please? Yeah, it sounds like it's a fun time there with Robin.
So I think we've got probably about 15 minutes left in our session due to kind of the late start, but I did want to obviously open it up to any questions that anybody has, comments, if anybody wants to share any experiences of anything that they're working on similar, please go ahead and feel free to ask.
So I have a question. Where is this Sage website? Oh, there it is. I put it in the chat. You can go look at our website if you like. It's in the chat. And then, Jocelyn, are you able to put our social media information in the chat in case people want to get a hold of us?
Yes, I can go ahead and get that from our list and add it.
That would be good. Yeah, we send out a lot of information. We have people posting on Instagram and on Facebook and also on Twitter. I just actually just sent this out on Twitter, a little picture of our Zoom room that we're in right now. So we are very interested to kind of get to know people who are working in school garden activities around the valley. And although we are primarily focused on the early care and education age group, we also really like partnering with our schools and our school K through 12, K through 8 also. So please reach out to us on the social media and we'll follow you and you can follow us and we will all be very happy in the garden together.
Yeah, and just to kind of piggyback off what Dr. Lee is saying, I mean, we do have a few slots open in terms of recruitment. So we are still looking for some additional sites who would like to participate. So if you are interested or know an ECE site that you might point us towards that might be interested in our project, please pass along those contacts and leads. We would be greatly appreciated. And we're also looking, one of the other things, of course, as we mentioned, that's really important for us is the sustainability of these gardens and of this project. So we've done extensive things to be able to make this information and the curriculum and the materials accessible to teachers, to parents, to all those kinds of things. But we also want to be able to tap into networks and resources for maintaining the gardens, right? So just knowledge, resources, supplies, anything that we can help our sites maintain their gardens. It's some of the networking that we're looking to leverage here as well and becoming part of the Farm to School network. So we're interested in those kinds of resources as well. And so we would love to reach out to anyone who might have contacts and connections for those kinds of things as well. Any other thoughts or comments or questions from anybody? I think you're on mute, Dr. Lee.
Yeah, I said I like the idea of the dance party with Robin. That sounds like more fun. We can hear your music playing.
Do a little Zumba. Let's have a little Zumba class, a little physical activity.
Yay.
There you go. Stand up and
Hello,
stretch.
good morning.
Good morning.
So just a question for, as you said that there's more openings for sites. You know, for me, this is the first year that, you know, I'm joining, but I mean, we are collaborating with Chicanos por la Causa doing the early Head Start program in Bubbles early learning center. As well, there's 2 locations here in Yuma, Arizona, and with them, I know that they're doing the Farm to School, and then yes, we do our collaboration is only like you know, the teacher implementing in the, you know, lesson planning it daily, like how to work with the kids, you know, bringing those fruits or those veggies from the garden through the table. That's something that we're doing right now, but we wanted to start like at the garden, like for the preschool classroom. And I hear that you say, Hector, about supplies and stuff like that. Where can I get those?
Yes, Kenya, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Kenya. So, you know, we can definitely talk offline about whether, you know, the sites in Yuma would be potential sites for implementation of our program. At the very least, like I said, we do have some of these resources available on our website. So if you go to our website, I believe we have up there just a real quick and easy how to build the gardens that we build. We build very kind of quick and easy, inexpensive materials to put together these gardens. And I believe we have that information up on our website if you want to get some resource and information on how to build and start a garden. So we'd be glad to talk offline with you if we want to talk about sort of formal partnerships. But we are trying to make that information available to anyone who's just interested in building their own garden. Dr. Lee, anything else you'd like to add on that?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I think what Hector said is all accurate, good information, and I agree we should talk offline and talk about opportunities. I was also looking, I don't remember where exactly on the website the garden build page is. So I was just kind of looking for that. I don't know if Jocelyn, if you happen to know where that document is located on that website, you could just pop it in the chat maybe.
Yeah, so it's on the website. It's under the curriculum tab. It's the very bottom, it says garden build.
Let me see. Good find.
All right, thank you. We'll be in touch. And I'm gonna look at the page.
Thank you, Kenya.
Here it is. I just put the garden build page in the chat.
One more question. Kenya, can you provide us with your email just so we have a way to contact you? Thank you.
Yes, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Can whoever is the host of this meeting mute Robin, iPhone Robin?
What?
We're just getting some background noise on someone. So if you could please mute yourself if you're not speaking, just to help with the audio. Thank you.
Yeah, whoever is the host should be able to mute iPhone Robin.
Okay. Let's see if that helped.
Ah, there we go. Very good. Yeah.
Bubbles childcare Yuma. Oh, I love it. It's really neat too. Just one of the little tidbits that's always kind of sweet and amusing is the names of the early care and education centers we work with. And so we love the unique and creative and kind of fun names that folks have. And so this is a good one. Bubbles childcare. I love it. Any other thoughts or questions or comments from anybody? Want to make sure we use our time appropriately, but if not, then maybe we could kind of wrap up. I think you have our contact information, and we'd be glad to follow up with any kind of questions or individual follow-ups that you all may have. And just want to thank you very much for joining us in the presentation today. Hope you enjoy the rest of your sessions.
Yeah, I put my email address in the chat also if you want to reach out to me, or I don't know, Hector, if you want to put your email address in the chat.
Sure, I will do that as well.
Yeah. I hope you guys are having fun at the gathering. Oh yeah, we've got the Sage at asu.edu and HJ Valdez at asu.edu.
Yeah, this is our first time collaborating and presenting here at the gathering. So we're very excited and glad to be here and look forward to being more involved with the network and watching it grow and being a part of this movement. It's really exciting to be a part of this.
Yeah, it's awesome. And we would like a garden in every school and early care and education center, because
Absolutely.
all good things come from the garden. Well, okay then.
Sounds good. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Again, enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your sessions.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you, everybody.